Hello, good morning and welcome to a snowy Königssee in Bavaria. We're in the deep south of Germany, close to the Austrian border, at the Kunsteisbahn, the oldest artificial track on the planet. This was the first built in anything other than natural conditions, and it's the first of two runs, the final round of the Viessmann FIBT two-man bobsleigh World Cup and the European Championships. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Martin Haven. Sitting alongside me is one of Germany's top brakemen. Viessmann, tell us about this track. It's a difficult track, even though everybody knows it pretty well.
Well, good morning, Martin. Yeah, it's a very challenging track, especially at the bottom part where it goes really quick after the Kreisel. If you hit the Kreisel the right way, that would be perfect. But right now we see the start. We're coming down the first couple of corners. The first corner is very important to hit it right because you can lose your speed that you acquired during the start. Then you get into the Schlangengrube, which basically is a double S, and the exit of those will be very important to get on the straight right now. You can see the straight, you can hit it straight or not. So you're really looking for two hits only. If you don't get it right, you will lose a lot of time. This will be one of the key points here on the track. The Kreisel, obviously, the exit must be right. Now you're getting this last couple of corners, which are very quick. The Zielkurve here, which used to be different a couple of years ago, is now not so strenuous anymore as it used to be. Still, you're getting a lot of pressure at the bottom part, and yeah, then obviously you are in the finish, and you're waiting for everybody to cheer you on.
And what's it like to come down as a German athlete in front of a big, fiercely loyal German crowd like this?
Well, that is obviously what you're longing for in the sport, you know. You're around all over the world, depending on the sceneries, you get more or less crowd, and especially here, coming to my home place, it's wonderful to have everybody screaming out very loud when you come to the bottom.
Well, it's Germany's Max Arndt who leads our World Cup standings from Alexander Zubkov of Russia. The top Russians are absent this weekend. Guess where they've gone with the Winter Olympics starting in just 2 weeks? They are training on ice at Sochi. And there is our two-man European champion. Bert Hefty and Thomas Lamparter won the title last year. Corey Butner and the rest of them warming up there on this little bit of snowy track. It is a winter sport, and the snow is always going to be a possibility. Does that really hamper you when you're trying to warm up? There's your driver, Francesco Friedrich.
Well, yeah, especially here in Königssee, where you don't have a roof above you when you warm up, like you just see Jesse Lamson here warming up. You know, everybody's packing in real warm, so they get really a good heat going just before the start. Yeah, it affects you. Especially, it's very nice to have the difference in Sochi, where those athletes will be in a couple of weeks. They will love it there because everything's on the roof, and you can warm up really good. So yeah, it definitely affects you. You're trying to pack in and get decent shoes, get a decent grip, because you're warming up like a sprinter, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, here is our two-man start list. 28 sleds on the first heat starting order, and into the second heat there will only be the fastest 20 going through. This is the final round of the Viessmann World Cup, and the first man at the ice is Germany's Francesco Friedrich. So Francesco Friedrich, Janis Becker, 2- and 4-man junior world champion last year, sets the competition underway.
This is going to be an interesting start. 4:90, which is a good start time, especially considering Francesco having a little sprain of his ankle. So we'll see how he gets down the bottom. He really enjoyed the track the last couple of days in training. So yeah, we'll see how he gets out there. Oh, nice and smooth. Good straightaway. Very nice. Coming to Kreisel now. Very smooth run, 120.4. It's good speed.
75 miles an hour, and down into one of the critical areas, that lower labyrinth.
Nice driving lines here, no bumps. Just got a little bit.
Well, we saw in the monobob race how much speed you can lose just a touch on the wall at the bottom, but 50.37. What about going first sled down? They've just swept the track, there's no snow. That's got to be an advantage, I guess.
It is a little advantage, especially in those conditions. I mean, they're brushing after every third sled here, so especially the second and third bob off will have a little disadvantage. But right now, you can see the snowflakes coming down. It's not that much yet, so yeah, it won't affect them too much.
Big hit from Yannis Becker, rear runners off the ice. That shows how much power you're trying to get into these sleds.
Lifted off a little bit, but 490 is really, really good, especially considering Francesco having this little sprain of his ankle, and that was good by Yannis.
Well, nice lines down through the labyrinth. Francesco Friedrich sets the bar, 50.37. Chris Spring and Jesse Lumsden. Jesse, the world push champion in Calgary at the beginning of the season. Talk a little bit more about brakemen and the pushing rivalries later in the run. Chris Spring, Canada's top driver this season, really coming on, still just 29 years old.
Yeah, Jesse, really strong push athlete, like you just said, Martin. We'll see what he can do today. Yeah, very, very strong push. Now you can see 489, but they were really good at the beginning of the season as well. So coming out really good here, first couple of corners into Schlangengrube. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do for the straightaway. The exit, nice hit, very nice. But you could just see all the snow coming up. So he didn't just get the middle of it, just a little bit on the side. Might cost him a little bit, but 120.7, good speed, still ahead.
Yeah, just a fraction in front of Francesco Friedrich. Now he's starting to open up the margin, and a nice run again through the labyrinth. Wow. The fans there showing just how close you get to the track at a bobsleigh track.
You could just see the snow there again.
Yeah. Still in the lead at the line, wow. 1300s.
Good.
Graham and Sven very happy with that, and I'm sure Chris Spring will be as well. Started his career sliding for Australia. He's from Darwin in Australia's Northern Territory. So from tropical Darwin to the ice and snow of Bavaria, that's a long way, Alex.
No, this was really surprising, actually. I didn't really see any great mistakes by Francesco. Maybe he forced it a little too much. Maybe it's the runners. I can't just tell you. Yeah, it was a really good run of Francesco, so I can't really explain or tell you why it didn't work out for him. But Spring is really good at the moment. He's really working the tracks well, and he's gathering some momentum. In the last couple of races, he's getting better and better.
And for any athlete, confidence is huge. Jesse Lumsden always knows he's going to put his driver in the mix. Andres Dreibel behind Nick Cunningham here. Cunningham will go to the games for the USA in two-man and four-man. And Dreibel will go as one of the alternate brakemen, so he doesn't make the A squad, but he will be in Sochi in case of injury. Well, he has got a great touch on the piano keyboard as well, Andreas. He's a real virtuoso, so once he's finished pushing, he could start tinkling the ivories, as they say. Little slip there. Of course, you do forget when you see these guys sprint, this is polished ice at the start. There's no snow there to make it extra slippery.
So strong hit. He's really trying to release everything he has there. Very important for an athlete to be able to actually show what he has, especially as a fourth athlete in one of the last races of the season. So that's very nice of Nick. So going through Schlangengrube again, let's have a look at this straight away again. You can see him steer a little bit, but still going really smooth down the track.
Just one tap there.
Oh, big speed.
Yeah, very good speed. He's going to come from behind. The gap's come down.
Interesting. Oh, only 200s left.
Little tap there on the last bit of the S's, the labyrinth.
And he's in front.
Cunningham with the lead of the race. And 600s could become a tenth of a second at the line if he keeps it tidy through the seal curve, and he does.
Wow. You can see the coaches here really happy. That is amazing. This is great.
Well, now, Francesco, first man down, still in the mix. We've only got a quarter of a second covering the top three, but that might be as far as the top 10 on this track. We often get close races here. But tell me about the start. How do you know when to get in the sled as a brakeman?
Well, basically, you're looking for the driver when he gets in, and it's very important to make, in our sport, we say active steps, you know, so you actually still accelerate the sled. It doesn't really help if you're running along or if you're actually decelerating and just hanging on. So you're just trying to have an active entrance into the sled.
So that's the power step. Rather than pulling yourself into the sled, you try and leap and take that extra power. Yes. And you see the track workers jumping in behind to sweep after the third sled. A little bit of snow is not so much a problem because it melts really quickly under the runners. In fact, it helps to just lubricate the track a little bit. So at the moment, it's not a drama. Justin Cripps of Canada next up. Brian Barnett with him. What a season the Canadians have been having. Well, these two, Cripps, an ex-brakeman, and Barnett, a rookie this season, but what a brakeman he's turning into.
Oh, wow, great start as well.
4:87, it's the quickest so far.
Let's see what he can do here in the Schlangengrube again. Smooth transition. Yeah, not too good, the entrance.
See the little Beard logo on the front of Cripps' sled, they are the Beard team.
Oh, big speed again.
Quickest we've seen so far. In fact, it seems the track is getting quicker.
And maybe the first couple of sleds are just brushing the snow away, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought that's what we had track workers for. That's not the idea. Not enough. 2/10 up.
Wow, big lead.
And this is in front of Nick Cunningham. 2/10 of a second.
That is big.
Well, there was the decidedly understated reaction of Tom Delahunty. He said he doesn't often go in the coach's box because when he watches himself back, he says, I get too excited. That was worth getting excited about.
Yeah, for Francesco Friedrich, this is definitely a little hit, you know.
Yeah.
He would have expected to have a definite advantage here in the German track, going off as one. And yeah, that was disappointing. But really, really good corner 90. Great speed, 121.8, really fast.
That's 76 miles an hour and still accelerating hard. They're pulling 3.5 Gs in the corner. There's Cripps. And next up is Canada's Lyndon Rush. So all three Canadian sleds in the top 5 start draw. And on artificial tracks, you always want to go early. St. Moritz, you always want to go late. Natural track heats up and warms up and speeds up during the day. The artificial tracks go the other way.
Let's see what Lascelles can do here. Big, strong man. Been here for ages. You can see him really using the sled, jumping in quick. Let's see what he can do.
4:89 keeps
Great
his
speed
driver.
as well.
Yeah,
Good.
right in the mix. And of course, when he goes to the games, Lascelles will meet up with old teammate Winston Watt, who's going to be there in the two-man for Jamaica. Lascelles started as a Jamaican brakeman.
Hey, he's been here. Oh, great exit onto the straightaway. See a little bumps, going a little bit squinted there.
That's the way Rush's season has been going. Tiny little errors, good speed.
121.4, still a little less than the others.
Eurotech sleds built in the Netherlands.
Not too smooth in transition here. Let's see what happens. Uphill, no mistakes now.
Just a 10th behind, this is second place. We're going to have Canada 1, 2, 4 after the first half dozen sleds. Wow.
Well, Friedrich is going to be real disappointed, to be honest with you. He's got half a second back, so can't really explain why he's back so far, because training has been going well.
Well, that's exactly right. We sit here and we look at the run, and empirically it didn't look any different or any worse, no major mistakes. So then you think, okay, it's the runners.
Look at the straightaway.
Double, triple tap all the way down the hill.
Yeah, a little bit much of the taps here.
On 2004's World Championships here, Gert Grimmer, who was coaching the Canadians, had to take a swim in the Königssee in icy waters. Pierre Luders bet him that if he won the two-man gold in the Worlds, then Gert Grimmer would have to take a swim, and Luders was good to his word.
Well, Rush seems to be happy here, maybe a little bit.
1200's back, that's in contention. Now then, here's our European champion from last season, Beat Hefty, with Alex Baumann behind him. Good look inside the sled to see just how comfortable they aren't. These things are built for speed, aren't they? They're stripped of anything that might make them comfortable.
Yeah, you're just sitting in there and hoping to get down real quick, you know? It's definitely not very comfortable here. But like you just said, it's only built for speed. It's like a racing car, you know?
Yeah.
So this is going to be exciting in the start here. One of the strongest starters in the field. Beat will definitely do his best. He loves this track. So this is going to be good. Strong hit. He always used to do well on this track. So let's see what he can do. Oh, wow. 4.81, the fastest we've seen.
200ths of a second off the existing start record. We could see that in danger this morning, that start area, Alex Mann. Even though it's snowing outside, the start area is fully covered, and so that's as quick as ever. And Hefty with the lead onto the bend away. Big skid.
120.9, not too fast.
Yeah, the sled was going sideways down towards the end of the straight. Let's see if he can pull it back.
See that was look
Bumpy, bumpy.
there. Okay, he's coming out good.
Good exit, 800ths of a second, still in second place behind Justin Cripps of Canada. 1100ths, 100th in front of Lyndon Rush. We've got a really tight race on our hands.
Very tight. I mean, you would have thought that the skid would have cost him more, you know, so he's still in the mix. He can still do everything in the second run.
Yeah.
If he hits it well with that starting time, it's really, really impressive. So things seem to be going well for the Swiss.
The start is important, like in any race, to get that initial speed in the sled.
Very powerful, look at that. Big strides, trying to be flat on the ice here. Really strong. You know, Beat, for all of those that don't know the sport too well, Beat used to be one of the strongest push athletes in Switzerland for years. So his transition to the pilot position was, I mean, it was a blessing for the Swiss, really.
Absolutely. He's been leading the Swiss team for the last 8 years and will go to Sochi as their lead driver. And for the USA, the lead driver will be Stephen Holcomb. And he's got Kurt Tomasevich, one of my regular broadcast partners in this booth behind him this morning.
Very strong, Kurt is. See what he can do.
4.95, great start from the Americans.
Probably not quite what he was looking for, Kurt. We'll see what he can do. We'll see on his, yes, definitely. It always takes two to push. So it's not only Tom.
Well, listen, wherever you're watching.
Straight away, very nice. This is on skid at the bottom there.
World Cup leader in trouble down the straightaway, 120.6.
Not really what we're looking for.
Not as quick
on that. With that start, he'll fall back. Yeah, about 34.
Of course, this is the home of BMW, Bayerische Motor and Werke, BMW.
Good driving here, good straight there.
Wow. Now, this is back where Francesco Friedrich was, which normally on this track would be a great thing. If you're close to Friedrich, if you're 500-600s in front of him, you've had a good run.
Yeah. But this is, for me, really, I don't really know what to say. It's a great surprise that Francesco is so far back. And Holcomb, okay, fair enough. He had a 95 on the start, which those guys are not really looking for. You'll see on the reaction of Kurt in a second. So, yeah, great. Maybe a little early get in. You can see it's not very easy for the pilots to get in smoothly. You know, you're trying to get in as fast as possible in here, but it's really very tight there. You can see him just try to squeeze in, and Kurt jumping right after him.
I always say it's like sprinting down your hallway and trying to leap into a bath with 3 other linebackers. It's definitely an art. There's a lot of science in it as well. Look at the distinctive shape of that BMW two-man sled. Oh, there's Holcomb.
Yeah, he's not very amused, you can see it.
Gold medal last week in two-man in Eagles and silver in the four-man.
Especially the two-man, you know, I mean, the two-man was really working his way down the tracks all over the world really, really well. So that's a surprise here.
Corey Butner with Chris Langton behind him. Steve Langton also sliding with Stephen Holcomb frequently.
See it at the start. 491, not bad.
Athletes come into this sport from so many different regions. Alana Myers, a softball player. Chris Langton, a lacrosse player. Maybe not the natural progression of career.
Good exit on the straight. Well, people are really coming to the sport from all sorts of sports, you know. I mean, I got into it by chance, and it's very rarely happens that you grow up right next to a track and you say, yeah, I wanna be a bobsleigh pilot, or I want to be a push athlete.
You could have ended up going into Highland Games, educated in Scotland the way you were. 75 miles an hour down through the Kreisel, 5th position. We are going to have a very tight field here, aren't we? Quarter of a second covering the top 5. Still lots of room for other sleds to move in. So a little fin on the back of the helmet there of Corey Butner, part of cheating the wind.
He's quite happy, you can see it, you know. It's not too far away from the lead, 27th. You can see the entrance here, to Kreisel, definitely cost him.
Now he's going to be racing just two-man in the Olympic Games, didn't get the third four-man sled.
Well, that's always hard for a team.
Yeah, little up and down in the Kreisel. The vital thing is to get the exits of some of these corners nailed, and he was good down the bottom. Big smile from Corey Butner. You can tell so much before the helmet even comes off when you see these guys getting out of the sled.
He's happy, you can see it. Yeah. It's really good.
Well, there are the brakes. They're only ever used after the run is finished. In the old days, on the natural tracks, they used to use them during the run to avoid killing themselves. Nowadays, only after the run. They gouge the ice so badly.
So let's see about those two. I mean, they're definitely going for the start record here. We've got the strongest push athletes of the whole field here, and this is going to be exciting to see what they can do.
Up until last weekend, he was in with a shot of the €100,000 triple trophy, Oscars Malbardis. That all went away in Eagles.
Look how deep they squat here.
Yeah.
Really deep, strong, fast. 479 would be what they're aiming for. Lower than that would be start record.
485. Wow, so not even the quickest in the field. Outstarted by Bert Hefty and Alex Baumann.
Yeah, but he actually, I mean, Malbardis, he was starting four-man this week, only seated, you know?
Yeah.
He has some problems, so 85 is definitely very good.
Well, this is one of the factors that you've got a pool of brakemen. You can change them around to keep them healthy. Every time the sled leaves, the driver's got to be in it, and that is tough in an Olympic year.
Yes.
120.8, good speed. Can he bring it back?
200s. Good drive in at bottom here. Nice line for Eckermann. Straight away a little bit on the right.
6th place, 7th place. He's going to be down with, well, indeed, in front of Francesco Frugic by 200s. And again, normally that would be a very good run.
Oh, I really don't know what to say to Francesco. Honestly, this is really bad. Really not what they were expecting.
It's like racing cars. When nothing seems to be going wrong, the guy's taking the same line as everybody else, but he's going slower. You look at the contact patch with the track, and it's the same here.
Yeah, you can see the transition down at the bottom here. A little bump here might have cost him as well, at least a 10th.
Changes the direction in that
a little bit early up here from Dreiskens, you know.
There's Thomas Dreiskens, one of the biggest men in the area.
Yeah, definitely. It is very interesting, really, about the Latvians. You know, he's really the only big push athlete they have. The others just seem to be tiny. If I stand next to them, you know, you always think, how can they be so fast?
Well, you are a bit of a monster, it has to be said. Next up is the monster, Kevin Kuska. He's taken over from Das Beast, hasn't he, Franz Sagmeister, as the biggest man in the German team. And what kind of shape is this man in? You know, he's in his mid-30s and pushing like a 20-year-old.
That is so right. I mean, it's amazing what Kuski is doing here. He's been working really hard, and man of his age, you know, pushing with floor shits. Both are real, well, let me say it, a little bit older than the rest of the field, you know, but still, good start time. They won't be satisfied with the 94. Transition here wasn't too smooth, you just saw that. But on the straightaway, real good. See what he can do. He doesn't really like the track. Big speed now, 121.6.
Quickest we've seen apart from Justin Cripps.
See what he can do at the bottom. Not too smooth there.
1800s back. Can he close down to within a 10th of a second?
Good lines at the bottom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Final corner. And the result is 3/10 back. Well, there was not 3/10 of a second worth of mistakes in that run.
Germans won't be happy with that. Definitely not. It's a home track, you know, you expect definitely more than that. Especially everybody's here, you know, the whole Olympic committee, whatever, everybody's here. So they want to show what they have. And this is not what they were looking for.
No Jarvols from Christoph Langen after that one. Tied for 6th.
Especially the 94, you know, you can see Florschitz really loose quickly here. He's not really behind the sled as he wants to. He can't train as he wants to at the moment because he's got a few problems with the Achilles tendon. So this will be a handicap to both of them, you know. And then you have this huge athlete at the back trying to squint in this little sled. If you stand next to Kuski, you will see, oh my God, he's just immense, you know. You can see him here at the back a little bit. So maybe not the perfect situation for him, but
Justin Cripps of Canada is our race leader from Bayard Hefty and Lyndon Rush so tight there behind them, with Cunningham and Butner of the USA in front of team leader Holcomb.
well, this is really something, you know. For Cripps, I think it's the first time he's at #1.
First time in the lead.
So
next up is Max Arndt, our 4-man world champion from last year.
497. That is not bad for the two of them, you know. Especially considering you've got Rüdiger here at the brakes. He's a lot lighter than Marco Hülkenberg, so they have to put in quite a lot of weight into the sled, which both have to push. So this is going to be interesting.
I'm trying to keep it off the walls down the straight. It's not just the tap with the wall, that's where the snow kind of ends up as
Good
well.
speed.
So that slows you down.
See what he
121.5,
can do.
third speed. Got any questions about the sport or want to make suggestions? At Bobsleigh TV on Twitter.
Good drive by Max. He's a good driver, very good pilot. I guess you need to be a good driver if you don't have all that good a start.
50.28, 400s behind Thomas Florschut, so again, very little to choose between the German sleds.
Yeah, but this is a big surprise. You would have expected a completely different order, you know. You would have definitely expected Friedrich to be up on top and not the last German sled. At the moment, he's still last, you know. This is definitely not.
Yeah, that's a sentence you don't often say. Friedrich is still last.
No, definitely not.
This could be a bit of a tough morning.
So, especially his drive wasn't bad, you know. I mean, we both saw it. It wasn't bad.
Good exit onto the bend away, as the Americans call it. It's not the straightest straight you've ever seen.
Yeah, a little bit on the left here, so he'll get a hard knock on the right now. Yeah, you can see his skids a little bit.
Yeah, just kicks the tail out into a skid. Justin Cripps of Canada still the leader. Start record still safe, but for how long? 20-year-old Oskars Kieber-Manis. And behind him is Viris Leiboms, and Kieber-Manis, not a former brakeman turned driver. He came in as a heptathlete from track and field, and a real discovery for Latvian bobsledding.
Well, both of them are really, really quick. Yeah, if you look back at the last couple of World Cups, they've been really roaring, you know. They've been so fast at the start. Especially this guy at the back, Leiboms, he is tiny. Yet again, you know, especially for two-man brakeman, this is crazy. But he's so fast. It's
Yeah, really well defined, both these guys, considering how young they are. They're only going to get faster, aren't they?
So his technique is not really good, you know, the way he's running. You can see it, he's really bent over the sled. But he's still very, look at that.
Yeah, 479 ties the start record.
Unbelievable. Very strong. Don't know where they get it from. See his drive.
Well, it's one of the biggest sports in Latvia now.
Big skid. Oh, look at that. That's exactly what you don't want.
And this, I think, is only his second time at the track.
Oh, it's very slow, so he's going to fall back big time. Almost 3.
Well, 2/10 back at the moment. That will leave him half a second back and more because he had no speed exiting the Kreisel.
That's good. Yeah, very young guy, only 20 years of age, you know.
At the moment, he is still in front of Francesco Friedrich, but slips behind by just 600ths of a second. And again, any other day, that would leave him somewhere in the top 4 or 5.
Definitely. So if you now compare those two drives, you know, Francesco Friedrich and Kieber-Manis now, you can see completely two different drives. I mean, all over. He's all over the place on the straight. And Francesco hit that straightaway really, really in the middle, you know. So you'd expect him to be far further in the field.
Look at the big skid. I mean, just shows you how slippery the track is. Even a two-man gets sideways like that, really skidding away. And like skis, when the runners on these things get sideways, it has a braking effect. It slows you down. Next up is our second Swiss, Rico Peter. And Swiss have been using 3 different athletes. Gregor Baumann raced the 4-man the last couple of weeks.
Oh wow, he's got Thomas Lamparter here as his brakeman. So this is going to be interesting.
Lamparter back and fit, just a few weeks out of the Olympic Games. Yeah, that's what a big draw it is.
He's been struggling very much so with all his handicaps he had. Quite a lot of injuries. Let's see what he can do at the start here.
Look at the quads on that man.
Strong hit. Forcing it. Getting well.
493.
As quiet as possible. 493, not too bad. Really considering Rico Peter.
Well, that's in among the Americans and half the German sleds as well.
Good exit here. He's still standing, you know. He's not really skidding. That's good. You can then take a couple of more hits as long as you don't skid. That cost him a big speed. 121.7.
Very quick. Second fastest sled we've seen. 1300s behind. This could challenge for the lead.
Good
if he keeps it tidy down here, he could be within a 100th or two of Justin Cribbs. 1500s back, maybe not. Top 3 is only 1200s away from the leader, 4th place.
Very nice.
Eric Allard chuckling away there, very happy with that.
That is great. That is really great.
And look how full that grandstand is. Big reception from everybody. This is a real sliding town. This is the home of luge. It's one of the big homes of bobsledding as well. They appreciate everybody here.
He's only 500s behind Hafty. You know, that's huge. And that with a start almost 1200s back. You know, it's huge. Rico, he's really trying to push as strong as he can. He's not known for his horsepower. Yeah, but with a strong athlete like Lampard behind him, he still managed to get a decent start time. Lampard trying to get in. Very nice. Yeah, the finish, you can see the brakeman usually.
Yeah, as just after Rico ducks his head to the line, Thomas pops his up to make sure that he's not going to brake too early or too late. Simone Bertazzo of Italy next up. Simone Fontana behind him.
Well, we're now looking at an athlete who used to be really, really storming in two-man. You know, he used to win or be on the top 3 in the World Cup, and he's been longing for a good result for a couple of years now.
Yeah, first of 2 Italian sleds, because we've got a World Cup rookie from Italy coming up later in the field.
493, good start. Good straightaway here. He's taken 3 bumps.
Is this the time to get his confidence back? He's already 1300s back, the speed's not there.
It's not there. You can see him going up and down the Kreisel, not too well. Trying to get straight lines here. He had a little knock again.
Well, this Königssee sled that they're using this year, relatively new, and I wonder whether that's part of the development problem as well.
A lot of pressure in those last couple of corners, especially for the brakeman.
Yeah, you really feel it, and you grinding you down into the sled. 50.53. That leaves him at the tail of the field.
Yeah, he's not going to be satisfied still. I mean, they're working with Ferrari for, I think, 2 years now, and you'd expect them to be further in the field, especially with the speed, and a good driver like Simone Bertazzo, but they didn't quite get it yet.
I'm guessing it's not the same Kony that makes coffee machines. I'm not sure how that technology crossover would work.
Yeah, look at the runner tips, just a little steer there. But the whole sled being lifted up.
Yeah, when you see how tight it is down here.
Yeah.
Listen, question from Peter Price on Twitter. He wants to know, Alex, from your point of view as a brakeman, how about answering this? What track does the start at Sochi most closely resemble? Is it short like this, or is it long like Eagles?
It's short. It's short like this, but not as short, not as long as Eagles.
Yeah.
I would say it would compare best to Winterberg.
Okay.
Yeah, so out of my experience, I've been there last year. I would say Winterberg pretty much gets it, yeah.
So we're looking at a big starters track again.
Definitely.
As we had in, well, Calgary is one of the great starters tracks, isn't it? Now then, Loic Costeg of France with Roman Heinrich, his #1 brakeman behind him. The French TV crews from Canal Plus all over these guys all weekend. They're going to have some great fly-on-the-wall footage. And this young Frenchman.
Let's see how he starts.
Whoa!
5:04, really not what you're looking for. You definitely want to go under the 5 seconds here, first couple of meters.
This is a French team recreating a French bobsledding tradition that died with the retirement of Bruno Mijon.
Good exit.
A dozen years ago. He's a good young driver. Yeah, a little skid. 1:20.8, quicker than Simone Bertazzo of Italy.
Not too bad.
He's giving away decades experience, but
transition there.
yeah, a little rocky. Now the first key for all these guys now really is to get a good enough run to get into the second heat. Because with 28 sleds, almost a third of the field will be watching with the crowd in Heat 2. 15th place, he is behind Bertazzo by just 0.08 of a second. And that leaves him at the tail of the field, only 5 more spaces and 13 sleds going for them.
Yeah, let's see how the other sleds can do with the track actually slowly deteriorating, you know? So this is going to be interesting. Oh wow, he really went up here on the side. Not a smooth transition, you can see that. Just a little too less steering, and then he gets a lot of pressure on the entrance.
We see how hard it is to get a 2-man down there. Alex, when you're in the back of a 4-man, that's a different ride entirely, isn't it?
Definitely, yes. Especially when you're on the brakes, you know. It just feels so hard at the bottom here. That's why they had to change the whole track. I mean, they rebuilt the Echo into a new corner, so you don't have that much pressure. It used to be one of the hardest curves on the tour.
Well, it burned down a few years back, some very dramatic photos of that one night, and that's why largely it was rebuilt. Ivo de Bruin with Dempster Wintersberger behind.
He jumped up here a little bit, not a too good push at the beginning. See what happens.
Dempster, a former track cyclist who now races motorbikes, and
not too good.
He's basically one of Ivo's best friends from back home in Holland, and answered the call. Ivo phoned him at Christmas and said, come on push for me. And he said, I know I'm not a great pusher. He said, I know I'm really no pusher at all, but it makes Ivo drive faster when he knows he's got no start. So they put a good spin on it.
Yeah, but bad exit here, sadly.
Well, Ivo is definitely a lot of potential in this young driver. Good exit in the labyrinth, that's what you want. You want to trickle down the bottom of those corners. This could bring him back into contention. Is this going to be enough to earn him a second heat? That is what they want.
8/10 back, it's big.
50.85.
Satisfied with that? No.
He won't be thrilled, but they know they're giving up so much at the start. Fastest start, 4.7. They go off in 5.1. 4/10 at the top, and they come down at the bottom 9/10. So a lot of that is before Ivo even gets his hands on the D-rings.
I mean, with that start, you know, really, you don't really have a chance. I mean, that's off starting time you're looking for in training, and that is definitely not what you're looking for. You can just see him on the straight as well, going too far on the left-hand side, so the ice is brittle there. It slows you down even more. You're trying to stick to the middle.
He's a top Dutch 2-man driver, but his brakeman Bro van der Zijde.
Yeah, always a good mood, this guy. Look at him. Yeah, whatever. I admire those athletes, really.
Tough if we lose him for the Dutch team.
Yeah.
Well, next up is Nicolae Strate of Romania with Florin Cratuin. Late entries into the last couple of World Cup races for Strate, just to really get a feel for the competition before the games. Romanians, one of the smaller bobsledding nations, like Belgium, who have kind of recreated bobsledding. They had a famous heritage in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah, they always did have a good start there. I can remember back in Euro Cup, we started against Estrada, and they used to be really good. So let's see what he can do. Deep squat again, hitting the sled real hard, and big strides. Quick get in, smooth, and now don't breathe.
499. You know, that's a mental barrier, isn't it? Getting below 5 is a big thing.
Definitely is.
62.9 kilometers an hour, nearly 40 miles an hour before they get down into the S's, and that's off a running start. Imagine that acceleration.
But you see here 2 bumps again, but still he keeps sled straight. 120.2.
That's decent speed, only a whisker behind Francesco Frugic, the first sled on the ice.
But
It's what happens below the Kreisel that's going to make the difference.
See how he does the uphill section here?
Nice and clean, right up the middle of the track. That's exactly what you want. Stay away from the magnets in those walls. 16th place, just in front of the Dutch.
But definitely also not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You know? You want a top 10 finish, even those guys.
Yep.
I know they can do more, but obviously they need to start. 4.99, not bad, but really you're looking at a low 90 here to have a chance.
Yep. Yeah. I think he is thinking of the mistakes. Look at the brakeman's heads. So hard, looking whipped there side to side.
So you're really trying to keep yourself solid as a brakeman, you know. You shouldn't really bumble around too much because it will always be bad in the sled, you know. If you have any vibration, it will slow you down. And if you're in the wind, even more.
Ask any sailor, weight shifting around is never a good thing in a moving vehicle. Edwin van der Kalker and Broer van der Zijde. Now, Broer came up with Ivo de Bruyn through training in Europa Cup. He is the strongest Dutch brakeman.
Very strong guy.
Going to try and give Edwin van Kalker a bit of confidence. Van Kalker has been named by the Dutch Olympic Committee to go to the Games in the two-man squad as well as four-man, which is very good news for the Netherlands.
Well, Edwin is not one of the youngest anymore either, right? So 492, great start.
That's Broer. Broer is a very big athlete.
Very strong indeed. Great exit here. Only 1100s behind. Okay, he's getting 4 bumps here, but still sled is straight.
125,
a little slow here.
Won his first ever World Cup medal here, Edwin.
The track is going to slow down now as well.
No snow in the air, which is good news for the later runners. The track is just a little grooved.
See what he can do. He's been really having great drives all over the last couple of weeks. Just the time wasn't quite there yet. So maybe they still have a little struggle with the bobsleigh.
That is a little bit better from Van Kalker. 14th place should guarantee him a second heat. And he needs every slide he can get now. He comes to the TV truck to get DVDs of the races. Just says, I need to get better.
Yeah. You see the pilot changing his grip to get in. You really, even... Yeah.
Broer drops in. It's hard to get those big shoulders into such a narrow space. You know, Gilo, you're as wide as you are tall. Look, they started.
You can see it. Look at that.
Yeah, they started 500 slower than Justin Cripps. They've got a Eurotech sled like Cripps, and yet they came down. How much slower? Half a second.
Well, you know, the track, like I said, it will get slower the further down the field you get. So this will really affect the sleds. And again, you will have a different setup of the sleds itself, you know.
Australia's Heath Spence with the Stig, Lucas Mata behind him.
Let's see what they can do at the start. He's really been fighting the last couple of years. Look at the suits, great suits.
Yeah, the girls are loving those suits, I gather, from my Twitter followers.
5.08, well, that's a little slow, really.
Yeah. But talked to Heath this morning. He was awake all night long last night. He's got a bit of a fluey cold. And of course, as an athlete, you're not allowed to take anything. I just, you know, have some tablets, go to sleep, knock myself
look
out.
at that, biggest skin. Oh my God, what is he doing?
Only his second time in Königssee, I think, he spent.
164, the slowest speed we had in the field now.
That's going to make it tough.
He's, I don't know.
Exit well.
Look.
Little rocky down the bottom though.
Whoa, almost went over there.
Well, look, you know, when your head's not clear, you've had no sleep and you don't know the track, then you're fighting an uphill battle, going downhill fast.
Well, especially this track.
And that is going to put him right at the tail of the field. Yeah, especially this track, actually. Although it's the oldest, although it's the one that everybody knows pretty well, those S's, I've seen so many great athletes in all sorts, luge, skeleton, bobsleigh, just get that wrong once and crash hard.
Well, it's really a key position here. If you don't get this straight away, you will just lose. You know, that's where you make the speed in the track. You can see the big skid. Oh man, look at that. He's cleaning up the whole straightaway. And he, not a good transition. Well, he almost, look at that, he almost crashed here, being too long at the corner.
Well, wherever you're watching across the globe, online or through the air, thank you for joining us. Alex Mann and Martin Haven in the booth watching the action here trackside at Königssee, one of the most fiercely enthusiastic crowds in sport anywhere in Germany. We're in the deep south of Bavaria as we see Dawid Kukczyk for Poland, Bregman Paweł Moroz. Moroz being the Polish for Chile, apparently.
Oh, look at that. They seem to be using a Latvian sled here.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Well, everybody's looking for that little bit of advantage, aren't they, in the athletes and in the kit.
Just trying to get that extra edge. Also, two athletes are not really known for that start. Let's see what they can do. 5-0, not bad.
That's not bad. Gets himself nice and low in the sled. Look, he's looking over the peak now. That's something he's not used to, having that V in front of his eyes. So that's going to take a little bit of getting his head around that.
Sure. Well, there's of a brakeman's perspective, I don't really know what to say here.
It's tight, but you can imagine, you know, he's used to a flat cowl, he's got this little peak in front, so he's got to kind of work out how to look round it without changing his lines. 120.4 is not bad speed.
Only 5/10 behind.
17th at the moment, behind the French, in front of the Romanians.
Early exit. Good straight. Here the uphill section again. Well done. 8/10.
Yeah, and that is him in 18th place behind Nikolai Estrate at the line. That leaves him in the danger zone. Last three sleds, Kukczyk of Poland, De Bruyne of the Netherlands, Spence of Australia may end up being spectators for the second heat. 20 sleds down, 8 still to come. And only the fast 20 will go through into Heat 2.
Well, Jackson's coming up next, right? So this is going to be interesting to see his start. He's going to be, he had problems with his leg or his Achilles tendon.
Heat Spence of Australia being greeted by the crowd down at the bottom. Interviewed down in the finish area for the fans. Dawid Kukczyk. Yeah, looked a little bit thoughtful after that run. It's Justin Kripsa Canada, our surprise leader from Beat Hefty, Lyndon Rush and Rico Peter. So 20 sleds down, 8 still to come, all battling for a spot in the field. John Jackson of Great Britain with Toby Olubi behind him. First time in the World Cup for Toby. It's his debut start. Jacko did not qualify as a two-man driver. Lamindine did though.
5:03. Okay, really not what he's looking for, but considering that he can only warm up on a trampoline, that really is impressive. You know what Jacko is doing the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles in July, had surgery, and is still going through rehab for that.
Good exit there.
With his 18 behind him, he will go.
Good straight away.
Bruce Tasker, Stu Benson and Joel Fearon and Craig Pickering. That will be the four-man lineup in George, their four-man for GB1.
Well, the four-man's been really, really good. You know, he's been always having trouble in the two-man. Really not gathering the momentum he needs for a top finish.
Yeah. Well, the driver's half the starting team then, isn't he? And so he has a much bigger effect when he's not fit. 19th place. Pete Gunn draws air through his teeth. That might be enough, it might not. He's in front of Ivo De Bruyne, and Heath Spence is out of the second heat. So the Aussies get bumped as Jacko is in, but he is only in at the moment. 7 more sleds to come. That might be enough.
You can see Jacko going really strong here, pushing. His frequency is really good, but you know, you can just not push hard enough with the Achilles tendon. The brakeman just getting in with him, you know, maybe a little early, not straight. He's got his leg up. Oh my God. Look at that.
Well, you can imagine the nerves, can't you, on your first ever World Cup start?
Yeah, that's fair enough. My first World Cup start wasn't a lot better.
You know, I think as a brakeman, if you get in, then you're doing a good job. Yes. After that, everything is going uphill. That's good.
You've got so much adrenaline going on up there, you know, when you're standing there for the first time. It's just great.
TV cameras, everybody watching you, which you've never had before. Well, next up is Lukas Schnitzer with Samuele Romanini. Schnitzer was supposed to slide in Eagles last weekend, did the Europa Cup races in St. Moritz instead. Jackson and Lamindina, Great Britain, did both.
Yeah, Samuele Romanini, you can see a mistake here out of the groove straight away. Not very good, it will cost him. The start wasn't very great either, 5.08, not really what he's looking for. Samuele Romanini, a brakeman who's been around for years and years, great friend of mine, also 38 of years, so he's really fighting for his place on the Olympic team. 190.7, not very fast at all. He's going to be losing. Yeah, transition here, okay. Lines at the bottom, not too bad. Getting on the straight, good. Almost a second away. Yeah, 21st, so won't see him in the second run, sadly.
No, but that is his World Cup debut.
Pity for Sam and Schnitzer.
Well, you know, that's what you want with a young driver. You want the experience on the back, don't you? You want the power, but you want somebody who knows what they're doing, who isn't going to be nervous about it.
You can see it, the brakeman, Sam making a bit too short of steps. Look, he's skidding here straight away out of the grooves, you know, and pilot's trying to get it back. Just see.
The runner tips as he just eases on the steering to keep it away from the wall. These things aren't steered with a steering wheel, they're steered like a sled when you're a kid, with ropes or cables with two metal D-shaped rings, the D rings, so you've got to grab those but not actually steer. And that, when you're leaping in, heart pumping, adrenaline racing, that's not the easiest thing in the world.
You can probably compare it a bit to biathlon, you know?
Yeah.
When they're trying to shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. Skiing like a demon and then slowing your heart rate down. The only Russian in the field is Alexei Gorlachov. All the rest are back home training up for Sochi. So Gorlachov, 32-year-old, originally from Bratsk, now lives in Moscow.
Yeah, I've been talking to him as well the last couple of days. He's been actually second and third, I think, at the qualifications. In the national qualifications, and they've just taken him out still, which I don't really know why. So he's a little bit...
The degree of politics always in everything Russian, I think. Maybe the family name doesn't help.
Bad start as well, you know.
Raced in Vancouver, he was 7th in the 2-man, 9th in the 4-man, and he doesn't get to go to Sochi. That's kind of hard, isn't it?
It is very... Sometimes you just don't understand those politics, you know. Good exit here.
Oh, and look, suddenly, is that snow flopping off the trees? Yeah, it's coming off the trees. There's nothing outside our window in the finish area. So if that is snowing halfway down the track, that's very, very cool.
Slow, sadly. Yeah. Good driving here.
Yeah. Keeps it smooth at the bottom, past the umpire band.
A little hard exit here.
20th place, could be in the race at the expense of Ivo de Bruyn. No, he's out. Not going to make it in. De Bruyn hangs on, Jackson hangs on, Gorlachov 21st. Yevgeny Popov will be not too happy with that run, I don't think.
Very hard for this pilot.
Yeah. Doesn't make the cut. And that's not things you want to say about Russian athletes.
And he's going to be very disappointed.
Justin Cripps of Canada still our leader, but Gorlachov in trouble at the bottom here.
Look at that. Just too steep the exit here. Can't really take along the momentum he had. So pretty much great drive all over, except this one mistake.
Yeah. And at 80 miles an hour, that's the difference of 100th of a second or so in the steer that gets you clean or hits the wall. Czech Republic's Jan Verba, 24th of our 28 sleds. Only the fast 20 go through into Heat 2. So he's got some pressure. Michal Vacek behind him. They'll be racing in the 4-man competition tomorrow as well. Again, Czech Republic, another small nation.
Good get in. But here again, you saw the brakeman, just too much movement in his upper body. He doesn't really have the transition of all his power, all his force into the legs and into the sled. He will lose a lot of momentum there.
Well, that's borne out by the fact that although they broke the timing being 9th fastest, their speed is only 11th or 12th fastest. I mean, a horror story down the bottom of the straight. 1:18.6 6, goodbye heat 2. No chance now. He was 19th onto the Kreisel. He'll be at the tail of the field coming down at the bottom here.
Good lines here, though. A little skid again.
0.85 back. Surely he's not going to make it. He doesn't. 22nd place. Well, one tiny error is all it takes on this track, Alex Mann, to ruin a run.
Definitely.
It looks so dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah, I always feel sorry for athletes. You know, you come all this way from all over the world, really trying everything to make a good start in the sport, and then you make one little mistake and you're out, you know, and all you invested is just gone. So
watch the tips of the runners. He's doing no steering here, but that little brush off the wall, eventually the momentum pushes the sled sideways. Once you've got the nose on one side of the track and the tail on the other, you know you're in trouble. Well, first race of the season in World Cup for Vuk Radjenovic of Serbia. Nikola Milinkovic behind him. Vuk, of course, married to the Australian driver Astrid Radjenovic. So they now divide their time between Serbia and Brisbane, Australia.
yeah, Vuk is a very strong athlete as well. Let's see if he can put all his strength into speed.
This is a big smile on his face.
Good starting position, hitting the sled hard. Well short first step. You're really looking for the distance here.
Gets struggled to get his feet in. He hasn't got his hands on the D-ring. He's got to save the slide. The bar is out. 24th start for the Serbians.
Really, that really wasn't good. It will cost him big time.
Yeah.
Don't think he can make it into the second run now. I can already say that.
A couple of taps down the straight. But visually, it looks slower. 120.2 is not the worst speed we've seen. There's lots in the 120s that are in the race.
Yeah, but smooth transitions here.
Yeah.
See what he can do. Good driving there.
And he haul it back. 25th on the straight. 24th exiting the Kreisel. 23rd into the Z curve. Out of the line. 21st. Tied with Gorbachev of Russia, but not quite enough to get into the race.
He was gathering momentum at the bottom again, right? So real pity with the start.
Yeah.
Could have made it.
Got his
Definitely.
feet hooked up, trying to get them in onto the footrests, past the D-rings, which are suspended top and bottom in the sled with bungee cords. Watch the driver. It's all about Vuk getting in here, Alex. Gets hooked up on the seat back. Can't get in. Now they're out of the drive lines, and the sled just rocks loose and into the wall.
Great pity for those two.
Yeah.
Really, there's nothing you can do. You know, if you're out of the grooves and you're that sideways, you just lose everything you had.
Justin Cripps of Canada, our race leader, from Bert Hefty and Lyndon Rush. Well, 3 sleds still to come here. And the first of them will be our oldest driver, Milan Janešák. Well, listen, from Justin Cripps, who leads the field, to Milan, everybody in this sport does it for love. Let's face it, there's no money in this.
No.
So everybody is just fiercely passionate about their bobsledding. And that's what brings this hotel owner and businessman back year after year to pay for a national team to come sliding.
I think it's great that you have those characters along in the field, you know? It just shows you what those people are made out of.
Yeah. He knows he's not going to be the fastest at the start. He knows he's probably going to be the slowest at the start. But without Milan, there would be no team from Slovakia.
I mean,
nice transition.
Those teams internationally, you know, they're made out of idealists.
Yep.
They just do it for the sport, for nobody else. So that really is what the sport used to be all about.
Yeah. Well, the famous British gold medalists in '64 in two-man bob, 50 years ago in Eagles, Tony Nash and Robin Dixon, they were exactly the same as this guy. Had regular jobs, farmers and businessmen, and took the winter off to go and slide for the fun of it. Yeah, big skid. Little rough at the bottom on his brakeman, Uri. So, 51.44 slide for Milan. And he is the living embodiment of how the sport was through much of it. Well, in fact, right until the Cold War. This crowd is great. When I was up there half an hour before the start, just below our booth, there was 10 people there. Now there's a few hundred making a heck of a noise for everybody.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Really, they're all athletes, no matter what country they come from, you know, and they should all be cheered for. So
look at that, lining the straight.
All uphill. That costs big time.
Alexandra Wood on Twitter, at Bobsleigh TV, by the way, is our Twitter handle, pointing out the BMW flashing its lights at all the sleds as they come down. I think it's doing the whole time. Now again, after the first race of the season for Serbia in World Cup and Slovakia, first race of the World Cup season for Michael Klingler of Liechtenstein as well. He's only competed, I think, in 2 World Cup races, this being the second. He's done 2 World Championships, though. Tiny team from one of the world's tiniest nations. Richard Wunder behind him.
Yeah, you can see his strides a little short. Again, not really what you're looking for. Let's see what they can do on the start. 5.06. Yeah, already 2/10 or more off the speed there. Really, any time you lose at the start, you can times by 2 or 3 at the bottom. So that's why it's so crucial to be fast up on top.
A little rattles down the straightaway.
Yeah, but still keeping the sled straight. Bad speed, too high here on the entrance. You're going to see him going up and down, really not what you're looking for. A little hard transition, but still. Good exit. Good straight here, uphill section.
That's not a bad run, is it? 21st place, 50.96. He's just a fraction out of the race. 11 hundredths of a second. And, you know, you've got the start, you've got a slightly older sled than some of the front runners, or maybe some of your closer rivals, a little bit less experience on the ice, you know, and that's what makes the difference. Liechtenstein not going to the games, but developing still.
Very much so. I mean, if you consider teams like Germany or America, how much they invest in the technique of the sleds and also in the athletes, and then you compare those little nations, and they're still having a good run at it, you know? They're only 1 second off, which is not bad. With such a, like you just said, bad start, not really the material.
And of course, all these guys here competing for the European Championships. We're looking here as well at a World Cup debutant, Stefan Vasilev of Bulgaria, with Vasco Naumov behind him. And the World Cup is what you see on TV. That is the top echelon of the sport in bobsleigh and skeleton. And below, there is Europa Cup in Europe and North America's Cup in North America and Canada, or USA and Canada, as you might expect. Had 2 crashes in training sled from the retired Austrian Jürgen Loacker. Loacker now, by the way, is a ski coach, so he's changed disciplines entirely. And Vasco, the brakeman, real tall character, so how much taller than his driver is even squatting down. Vasilev, 2 crashes in his 4 training trips. Looks back to make sure his brakeman's coming with him.
Had to look back, if he's really there. So, slow getting. Oh, bad start, 5.26.
5.26, well, you can imagine, you know, he didn't feel the hit from behind, did he?
Not at all. That's why he was looking back.
All drivers always say that they pull their brakeman off the hill, you know, they're the strong guys, but there, I think he left before Vasilev was ready.
Exit off flanger over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're so right. Oh, not a good drive. Not a good drive at all. 118.
A little, but he crashed off the exit of Kreisel. Should I have said that? Possibly not. He gets it neatly there through the labyrinth, though. That was perhaps his best run through the labyrinth. But he's not going to make the race here.
Good straight here.
But he's got it down safely, and for the brakeman, that is a Brucey bonus, 51.78. He is 27th, ahead of Pete Spence of Australia.
I don't know if the brakeman actually has been on this on a sled before, because I think he just told him that he has to brake now.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. So he's not happy at all.
Yeah, Stefan Vasilev not happy with that. Well, the brakeman is coming.
Along.
He's digging in. I wonder if he had a slip there. His hand came, the right hand came off the handle.
Bad exit out Schlanger. Look at that. The ice spraying up, going sideways. This is, I mean, really, as an athlete, if that happens, you just want to exit the sled straight away. You want to just say, thank you.
Yeah. Park it, go shopping.
Yeah.
But you're accelerating hard, 75 mile an hour, Kreisel coming up in front of you, and then the worry of getting it off safely without using your helmets. Good job, Stefan Vasilev, to keep his mental control.
Yeah.
I'm talking about mental control. What about this guy, Justin Cripps, Team Bearded Wonder with Brian Barnett in the lead for Canada. His first time ever in a World Cup race lead. He's got a half hour, and then the second heat to think about that. He will be the very last man to go. Could Cripps take his first ever World Cup win here in Königssee in Bavaria? He's not been on the podium before in his World Cup career. To step straight up and win it would be a massive day for him. Wow, we got a lot of stories here. What will the Germans find for Heat 2? What will Cripps find for Heat 2? He's got Hefty, Rush, Peter, Cunningham, the rest breathing down his neck. Well, all 28 sleds safely down in the first heat here in Königssee. The fast 20 will go through. And the first on the ice will be Ivo de Brun. John Jackson, David Kupchik and the rest will follow on, all trying to defend their positions and advance up the order. And Justin Cripps will go late on perhaps the biggest day of his sliding career so far. The remaining 8 sleds will be spectators. Well, my thanks to Alex Mann for joining us in the booth. Thanks to you for joining us too. You can watch live on TV or online. And don't forget, you can tweet us at Bobsleigh TV. And we will tell you more about what you need to know about the fantastic world of bobsled. Until then, from the FIBT TV crew here in Königssee, Bavaria, I'm Martin Haven saying thanks for being with us. We'll see you for Heat 2.